Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum everyone. So inshallah we will wait for another 5 minutes for the rest to join us inshallah. And we will start at 2:35 p.m. So it's 2:35 p.m. now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful and compassionate, good afternoon and welcome to the first ever session of Inhart Research Talk series that is brought to you by the Office of Deputy Dean of Responsible Research and Innovation Inhart. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And let us begin the session with Kitab al-Fatiha. So, Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. First and foremost, I'm Nur Hidayu Al-Sa'ari, and I will be moderating the skill help from members of research unit. And I would like to take this opportunity, a few seconds, to really thank them for that. And a little bit on this session. The session will begin with some brief introduction of the speaker today, and later we will provide some time for question and answer session after the talk. And I just want to take a few seconds to make a housekeeping announcement for such virtual event. It's just a normal housekeeping announcement. Number one, attendees is advised to mute themselves unless they need to speak or ask question later. And number two, you can unmute yourself to ask question, or you can just type in the question in the chat section. I will later bring them to our speaker's attention to answer. And number three, attendees are encouraged to turn on their video or webcam for more effective engagement, especially when you are asking some question later. Thank you very much. So without further ado, let's proceed with a little introduction of our speaker today that will be presenting a very interesting talk and very relevant to the current life that we live in today and the current crisis that we are facing today, entitled Protein from the Sea, Our Food Security Agenda. And actually, I have known our speaker today for quite some time, since I was still a student doing master at the UPM. And Alhamdulillah, fate has brought us together again at Inhart, and I'm glad to be here moderating the session. So I'm introducing you to our Juris Associate Professor, Dr. Zaleha Kasim, who actually obtained her PhD in aquatic biology in 2001 from University Putra, Malaysia. Sorry, my internet connection is quite unstable here. I hope you can hear me. Please ask me to repeat if you didn't really hear me, okay? Coming back to Associate Professor Dr. Zaleha Kasim. She completed her bachelor degree in biology in 1996 after working for 9 years as a trained high school teacher. So she was actually a teacher. She received her diploma in science and education in 1983 from University Pertanian Malaysia, which is now University Putra Malaysia. She is one of the alumni of the Japanese Society for Promotion of Science, JSPS Fellowship, collaborating in zooplankton ecological research group with other members from Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Japan. She is also a member of the Malayan Nature Society, Asian Fisheries Societies, and Malaysian Society for Applied Biology. And Dr. Zaleha is now actively involved in research and management of marine protected area, specifically on management plan of marine park islands in Mersing Water and inventory study of aquatic invertebrates for Tioman Island. So she received grants for the two marine parks, and she used the grant to involve herself in extension work to give advice and consultation on managing coastal activities and ecotourism sustainable manner. She worked on a program between university and community industry, and she was awarded a prototype research grant scheme in 2018 for algae product for the benefit of aquaculture industry in Malaysia. At Inhart, she continues to supervise postgraduate students under her field of expertise, and actively involved in JSPS Society, World Aquaculture Society, and Malaysian Nature Society. She is now working on her new FRGS project on horseshoe crab. And at the same time, she devoted her time to impart knowledge and skills on aquaculture for the benefit of the orphanage of Permata Al-Insyirah, Kampung Sungai Isak, Kuantan. She is also the head of Inhart, Kuantan campus, and the Deputy Dean of Student Development and Community Engagement, where she, together with her unit, frequently organize halal awareness talk, hands-on activity, training, and research forum related to halal and toyib subject matters. So with that, I welcome Associate Professor Dr. Zaleha Kasim for the talk, and the mic is yours, Dr. Tafadhal, Dr.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hidayu, for a very nice introduction. You should cut it short. By the way, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. To our beloved Deputy Deans, Dr. Prof Yumi from the ODAI office, and also Prof Azura from the research office, and other colleagues from Inhart, and also colleagues from IMOLEC as well, and also other participants in this lovely afternoon. I would like to share some, I can call it as a little review on the topic. So let me share the screen first. Okay, the title of my talk today is Protein from the Sea, Our Food Security Agenda. This is the layout of my presentation. I try to make it short and so that you can understand more. And I will discuss based on the background, problem statement, literature search, finding, and some discussion, and also conclusion with some suggestion. So first, let me look at what we mean by food security. There is an evolution of definition of food security since 1974, and the recent one is in 2001. And the changes in the definition is based on the current situation during the time that needs some changes in the definition so that we can work towards what to handle or to solve the current situation on this food security. So as for 2001, food security exists when all people at all time have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. So you can read more from the www.mafi.gov.my. Food security, there are some about 4 dimensions that we look into when we talk about food security. Number 1 is the food availability. Number 2 is the food accessibility. Number 3, the utilization, and also the stability. So food availability means is it the food is available of sufficient quantities, and the accessibility is whether accessed by individuals to adequate resources, and utilization means utilization of food through adequate diet, clean water, sanitation, and healthcare to reach a state of nutritional needs. And then stability means the food can be obtained or you can access the food continuously, not seasonal. Okay, and the problem statement, what I want to highlight here, why I want to discuss about this issue is because of the we have hunger and food insecurity. We still have this, and we are facing it right now. And if we look at the scale of food insecurity, it can be mild food insecurity, moderate food insecurity, or severe food insecurity. The scale is based on FAO. So mild food insecurity means worrying about ability to obtain food. Moderate food insecurity, compromising the quality. You have the food, but it's at very low quality. So it is also a food insecurity. Also, if you have people need to skip meal, reducing in quantity, and the worst scenario is severe food insecurity, where you experiencing hunger. And here, if we refer to World Food Program, WFP, actually, it is reported that we are now in global food crisis, where there are 345 million people facing acute food insecurity in 82 countries. And WFP needs to reach about 152 million people just in 2022, and they need $22.2 billion as funding. And we have a prevalence of undernourishment issue. So before this, in 2009, 10, and up to 2017, we can see the reduce in the prevalence of undernourishment, but then the number increased again, and you can see in this graph for up to 2019 to 2021, we can see the increase. And prevalence of population undernourishment in the world, and of course in the African region, we can see from this data as reported by Atu Kunda et al. In 2021, where the prevalence still increase, especially in the African region. So WFP actually announced 2022 is a worst year, where it is a year of unprecedented hunger. Why did this happen? Because we have conflict, we have COVID, and climate crisis, rising of costs. They are all in 2022. So it now we can see as many as 828 million people go to bed hungry every night. So you can imagine there are many people, while we are full before going to bed, there are about 838 million people feel hungry. All right. That is about the what happened right now in the world. We are in the food crisis, actually. And if we look at how do we fare with this food security issue, we have a Global Food Security Index, GFSI, where we can measure our performance in terms of food security based on the affordability, availability, quality and safety, and also GFSI include natural resources and resilience as one of the indicator. So this GFSI will produce report yearly. So we can see which country will be good in terms of food security index and which country is not good, even for Malaysia. And if you look at here, the top 8 countries which are good in terms of the Global Food Security Index, they are all mostly from the European part and also Japan. But Of course, the lowest 100, we can see most or all from the African region, where we have Madagascar, Rwanda, Venezuela, also Yemen and Burundi. And where is Malaysia? Okay, so Malaysia is more or less in the middle. In 2015, Malaysia ranked 34th based on the GFSI. But in 2021, Malaysia fall to 39, ranked 39. So with the affordability of 85.6, availability of food of 64, quality and safety 76.3, and natural resource and resilience for us is 46.6. So we are lower, far lower than Singapore. Singapore was ranked 15, which is quite good. Okay. What we can say about this ranking? So the countries that are models for food security are those that score highly on the 4 pillars of food security. Okay. And for example, if you look at Ireland, it is at the top. For 10 years, Ireland has been able to keep food costs down. This is one key to be good in the rank. Keep food costs down, at the same time tackling the inequality and insecurity. Safety net remains still in place, and they have a big jump in agricultural R&D. So here we can see research and development in agriculture is very important if we want to curb the issue of food security. And then and has been able to minimize food loss, and also the government has high nutritional standard. They have the standard, and they are politically able to adapt. So they have a political will at the same time. But in contrast, if we look at countries like Venezuela, Burundi, why they are ranked at the lowest part, they are unable to keep food costs down and have not sufficient food supply on market or market access. And they also suffered food production, and they have often not had the capacity to grow food security through investing in R&D. So the R&D is very poor in this country, and they have a very poor food security strategies, national adaptation policies, risk management plan, and nutritional guideline. So that is we can see the difference. That's how a country can be at the top or at the bottom. I did some literature search about this protein from the sea. If we want to talk about food security from the ocean, as discussed by HLPE report in 2014, so up to 2013, fisheries, capture fisheries. Capture fisheries means ikan tangkapan. So apa yang nelayan tangkap dari laut, capture fisheries. And aquaculture is you do the fish rearing, pond culture, cage culture. That's what we call aquaculture. So capture fisheries and aquaculture provide 3 billion people with almost 20% of their average per capita intake of animal protein. Meaning to say fisheries, capture fisheries and aquaculture give significant supply of protein to human. And in Asia, where fisheries are extremely important and fish farming has developed rapidly over the last 30 years. So total dietary protein from fish is about 50 to 60% of the intake. This is especially for countries like Cambodia, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka, they are very dependent on fisheries product for their food security or food supply or protein supply. And fish also very important for the human diet who are living in small island state. For example, in Maldives, the dependency on protein from fish is about 60%. And of course, for low-income population, fish become more important because fish, will improve or will give additional nutrient to pregnant mothers, breastfeeding mothers, and also young growing children. Okay, this diagram is quite complicated. I will try to simplify it. Okay, this is a conceptual representation of a different pathway between fish, food security, and nutrition. If we ask what is the connection between fish, food security, and nutrition? Okay, all right. So fish production can come from fisheries or capture fisheries, or another one is from aquaculture. Both fisheries and aquaculture will give you fish production. This fish production can become feed for animal or other than fish animal. They can also become feed. Fish production, of course, become our food. So if it is if it is goes to the animal product and for animal, it's become feed for animal, or else it's become food for us. So we will get nutrient supply from fish. And those who are involved in the fish production industry, trading, catching, okay, they will get cash, they will get income. This income can help them to, with the profit, they can do some investment to the fish production industry again, or to other investment. Okay, it will go to another cycle. And then at the same time, those who are working in this fish industry, they get salary, of course. With that salary, they can get access to food, which is basically normally is the fish. So they can feed the family, and the population grow from this fish supply. So this is you can see actually. So there is a link, a very strong connection or association between fish, food security, and also nutrition. Okay. So that is about the why do why do I think that we need to discuss this issue. Because it is very important. There is connection. Fish from the sea can give many things to us on the land. Okay, and there are many more literatures on protein from the sea. For example, as early as 1955, a chapter in a book written by Walford and Wilbur, 1955, the sea as a potential source of protein food. Of course, because in the sea we can get algae, invertebrates, and different kind of fish. That is in 1955. And very recent, in 2001, Gonzalez et al. Mentioned about seafood from other than fish, from sea urchin, which is very rich in digestible protein and also other minerals. And then Tivia et al. In 2022 emphasize on the importance of seaweeds. I know some of you do many research on seaweed. So seaweeds have been proven, have been shown having to have almost, not almost, having up to 40% of protein, digestible protein, and with excellent acid amino profile, which is comparable or even superior than animal protein. So this is this is amazing, right? And then Stack Q with et al. Into 2022, in contrast, mention about, even though we have a lot of protein from the sea, very good, very important, very significant for our diet, but seafood remain under research if compared to the role of land, animal, or plant production in terms of food security. So we are still very far in terms of our seafood research, seafood and food security, seafood security. So this is another chance for us, another venue that we can use to explore. Costello et al. In 2020, actually very positive. They reported the importance of food from the sea as our future food. So edible food from the sea could increase by 20 to 44 million tons by 2050. And it is 30 to 74% increase compared to the current year, meaning to say there is a future, a good future for protein from the sea, because we can produce more. We can produce that much that maybe can help in terms of food security up to 2050. Okay, and so far, as mentioned by Hua et al. 2019, they compare between capture fisheries and aquaculture. Okay, and they said that even though we are now moving towards more on aquaculture, mariculture, but still we use protein from the wild fish to be the ingredient in to feed our cultured fish. So that is what they mentioned as fish meal. So those who are not from aquaculture background, maybe this is quite difficult to understand, but I try to make it simple here. Okay. If you culture fish, you will need to give them, normally you will give pellet, right? Fish pellet. In the fish pellet, the formulation must include fish meal. Fish meal means fish extracted from the wild fish. So it can be extracted based on the tissue or the oil. So we call it as fish meal, sometimes from the blood. So any type of fish that you culture, whether it is you culture it in the sea or in fresh water or backyard at your house, you still need to give them fish pellet, right? And fish pellet will contain fish meal, because or else this fish won't eat the pellet. They want the aroma of the natural fish. So this is actually an issue in terms of environmental degradation of marine ecosystem. This is a big issue where people will harvest fish in the sea to be used as fish pellet. Okay, that is what Hua et al. Concerned. in 2019. So they discuss based on this diagram. So you can see aquaculture and wild capture fishery production in the world. Of course, it will be dominated by wild capture production, fish from wild capture, okay, ataupun fish ikan tangkapan, wild capture production. Only in China we can see the aquaculture production dominate the wild capture production. Others, it will wild capture production. So we can see here the pressure on the sea. So if we want to have protein from the sea to help to solve the problem of food security, we can see that the fish caught from the sea is not only for us, for human, but also for other cultured fish, like this here. So each type of fish or shrimp or prawn that you culture, it will also eat somehow some fish from the sea in the form of fish meal. So that is why there are studies, there are many studies done to try to make replacement, fish meal replacement. Okay, we want to reduce the pressure on our sea because we human want to have those fish for them. So we need to reduce pressure of using those fish for other fish. Okay, like we can also try to explore this kind of research activities where we try to find a replacement for fish meal. So far, they use animal byproduct, other novel ingredient, and then or other marine ingredient, or such as seaweed, seagrass, and also microalgae, and also some use plant ingredient. Try to use to replace fish oil and fish meal. But still, you can see here the black and the dark one. The little we still need a little portion of fish meal and fish oil. So maybe you can try now to do experiment. What if we eliminate all fish oil and fish meal and replace it with something else? Then we can have a novel finding. Okay. Okay. I try to make it quick. Okay. So now, if we want to go or to support our food security agenda, we need to support the food and nutrition security contribution of capture fisheries. We need to support these capture fisheries first. First, we need to have policies. Policies must be developed both to ensure the sustainability of resources and to recognize trade-off and synergies between conservation and food security objective. Normally, these two will be contradicting. Some people want to conserve the water, conserve the fisheries stock in wild, but some want to exploit. So because of the exploitation will help people to eat more fish. So this is a matter of food security. So now we need to have policies that can trade off and synergies between these two. Okay, need to work together. Okay, and we need to reduce overfishing of wild fish stock. This is what Castello et al. Mentioned. So how to reduce overfishing of wild stock? We need to have policies, regulation on illegal fishing, on helping the poor in terms of subsidy, and also some institutional governance on the sea resources. And Castello et al. Also created these 4 diagrams to show what will happen up to 2050. Right now, A. So the need is 49 metric ton of fish. So 84% contribution will be from the wild fish, and 11% from the fin fish mariculture, meaning you culture the fish, and 5% from the bivalve mariculture. So it is at present, you know what, while marine wild fisheries, of course, we don't need to feed the fish in the sea. It is okay. But if you culture bivalve, you also don't have to feed them. Because when you culture bivalve, for example, green mussel, kupang, okay, or oyster, you don't have to feed them. You just put them to substrate where they can live. They will eat the sand, they will filter the sea water. So provided the water is clean, the sediment or the sea bottom is clean, everything will be okay. So if that is the case, we can move to B, where in future we still need more or less the same metric ton of protein supply from the sea. We can increase the activity of mariculture and bivalve mariculture. Or if we need more, we can increase more the fin fish mariculture activity, provided we find alternative for fish meal and fish oil. And also we can extend our bivalve mariculture. And if we have demand, from extreme to demand, D. C is extreme, meaning we need much more protein. Or maybe in 2050, we need more and more demand. So we need to extend our fin fish mariculture and bivalve mariculture, and we reduce our marine wild fish capture. So if that can be done, then we can survive and we can improve our food security agenda. Okay, how to do that? In my conclusion and suggestion, from my perspective, because I'm working a little more in the management of marine park area in Malaysia, or in the common term, we call it marine protected area. Can marine protected area be a solution to our problem in keeping our food security agenda? Okay. Cabral et al. 2019 discussed that MPA is not only used for conservation effort, but beyond that, and it is particularly important for food security. So if we modeling the MPA for food security, and it is possible, so we can have both conservation of biological entity, at the same time we can improve the economic aspect of our people. That is what Cabral said or suggested, and I think I can agree to that. And due to the overlap of important areas of biodiversity, of course, some people want certain area, no, we cannot go there for fishing. We want to keep the area pristine and conserve and protect the biodiversity. And also over there we have threatened species. But at the same time, we need food security. So this is overlap of importance, okay? So we need to increase sustainable fishing practices. and we need to give priority to mitigate bycatch. What is bycatch means? Okay, you use one net to catch fish. The net is the size of 2 inches. It can catch all fish at with the size of more than 2 inches. Maybe those fish will include those who are not target. Not targeted fish means no market value. But because of this size of net that you use, you catch all. Those who are not, which are not needed in terms of commercial value, we call it bycatch. So we need to mitigate this, or else you will catch everything from the sea, and then you just pick some for to be sold in the market. The rest you just throw it away or dump it somewhere on the beach. That's what happened actually locally. Okay, so we don't want to have this. Okay, this need to be mitigated. And of course, MPA current network need to be expanding. If we are serious about MPA, Marine Protected Area, for food security, for conservation, we need to do this. And as Jefferson et al. 2020 mentioned in his paper, we need to call to protect 30% of the world ocean by 2030. Can we do that? For Malaysia, our target is to have 10% of our water being gazetted as marine park, which is not achieved yet. We are now only at 4.5% only, not half. So it is still a long way to go. Okay. And again, for Malaysia, we have Malaysian National Food Security Policy Action Plan for 2021-2025. You can Google from mafi.gov.my. They have a different cluster. This cluster is on the affordability, availability, food security and utilization, and also stability. So you can see it is ketersediaan, availability is under MAFI, and then different dimension under different agency, if you can see here. Okay, I can give you a homework. You can maybe you can think about something. What agency, what else, or what other agency should be in, so that this plan can move faster. What do you think? Okay, later you can give comment. All right. So we want to have this in our sea. This picture is from Hans, as mentioned there. So thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Zaleha. So now I open the session for question and answer session from the audience. You can just type in your question in the chat section, and you can also raise, maybe there's some raise icon there to ask question, and just unmute yourself and ask question. Tafaddal, everyone, if you have any. If not, maybe Dr. Zaleha, I can start asking question, perhaps to spice up the session a bit, to kickstart the session, the Q&A session. So as you mentioned just now, in which I also agree, I believe that with population growth and some other factors, perhaps including the lifestyle that we practice, like wasting food, we know that soon marine capture fisheries worldwide might become unreliable, since many fish stocks or even their habitats are already overexploited. So we know that with that, the aquaculture sector is potentially the source to meet future demand for fish. But from the perspective of the Malaysian or even global halal industry, and perhaps this question is especially pertinent to individuals who are not from a halal background. How does the aquaculture sector contribute directly to the halal industry, other from acting as food and protein sources? We know that fish is a good food and protein sources. Is there any things that aquaculture sector can contribute to the halal industry? Can you do you want to answer that now, Doctor?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Go ahead.
Of course, we know that fish is halal. Okay, fish is halal, so no doubt. But fish can be al-jalalah at times. And if we go deeper, the way you treat your fish during culture production, during the production cycle, can can fall into macro and so on. If we don't adopt good aquaculture practice and animal ethics in handling aquaculture activity. So this is normally people, they don't really care about this, or maybe they don't have enough knowledge about this. So, but we as those who are in aquaculture, in halal industry, or in those who are concerned about halal haram, we need to educate our farmers. So aquaculture can contribute to halal industry if you can, maybe you can come up with certain criteria, or what we call right now, normally we have this amalan baik ladang, right? But it is not compulsory in Malaysia. We need to have this kind of amalan baik or gaps or whatever, good aquaculture practice. For example, we have a set of criteria that need to be fulfilled by the aquaculture farmers to be followed. So by following that, they will get some certification, and their product can have some flag. This is happened in Hong Kong, where the farmers from different ponds or different farm, they really like to get involved in this activity so that their fish product can have that flag, kind of a good aquaculture practice flag, and they can sell their product at higher price. So we can use halal as our flag, so because just like why halal certification of Jakim is so laku, is so important, because halal for business people, halal is a business, is a way to promote their product. They don't care whether it is following Islam or not. So halal is no more milik pribadi Muslim. So we can use this aquaculture matching with halal criteria. You can promote aquaculture for halal industry. And of course, if you follow this, the criteria will be comprehensive, including pollution, whether this activity contribute to the coastal area pollution and other pollution, water pollution, and so on, right? So in a way, it is a way for us to curb the negative impact of aquaculture. This is what we always see, right? Aquaculture practices always give negative impact to the coastal area, to the surrounding area, which is not good. You gain profit, but you give environment problems. That's my point.
Thank you, Dr. Zaleha. Thank you for answering that. Maybe we can hear one or two questions from the audience. Do we have question from Facebook, Dr. Amal?
So far on Facebook, we do not have any questions, Dr. Hidayu.
Okay. Maybe from those who are joining in Zoom meeting, maybe you can ask one or two questions before we wrap up the session. So if not, maybe Dr. Zaleha, one more question from me, Dr. Zaleha. It's just
Okay.
Spice up the session a little bit more.
Okay. I know, so, because the title is quite heavy. The content of my discussion, I think, is quite heavy for environment or aquaculture background.
Yeah. And perhaps those who are joining today is those who are coming from halal background. So perhaps this is very new to them.
Exactly,
about
very new.
And also agriculture.
That's why I like to share the information.
So basically, okay, it's good, Dr. Zaleha. It's good introduction to what we are doing lah, yeah, Dr. Zaleha.
Exactly.
Aquaculture and
It's something new, something new. Yeah, I think you have one question.
Yes, Doctor. Okay, one more question. Okay, so basically, like you said just now, perhaps we need to do a little bit of like conservation in some areas in Malaysia, and we need to reduce the captured fisheries can. So when I was in Japan, I know that there is one colleague of mine actually doing a research to satellite monitoring of Pacific sorry.
Okay.
One of their own fish, important fish in Japan. They see how this sorry actually live and migrate, or even like they study the population. So my question is there any special research that has been done or that is now of significant interest to the scientific community in Malaysia particularly, in order to increase the captured fish or even conserve the population of fish in some areas in Malaysia? Is there any, Doctor?
Yes, the answer is yes. Yes, the answer is yes. And we can refer to CIFDEC. CIFDEC, this is an international body, but we have it also in Malaysia, and they are very active in terms of monitoring the fish population, fish landing, fish larva distribution. This is what we call population dynamic, fish population dynamic. So we have people working on in this area. Even in UIA, we have in Kuliah of Science, Dr. Muzaffar. He's an expert in population dynamic. He also graduated from Japan. So I think we have, but of course, because this is not our institute focus, that's why we heard less about these things. But if we want to go into this in terms of halal industry, actually we should go, because we cannot limit our research into something which is very, very small niche. We need to broaden our exposure in terms of research. Because if you study about the fish population and fish migration and fish home range, it will relate to halal and toiban. I can say that, but you must try first.
Alhamdulillah to know that. It's great that we have such effort here, particularly in IIUM as well. So thank you for your answer, Dr. Zaleha. Maybe I can give few minutes more to the rest of you to ask question, if any. Anyone? So, if nobody is asking, perhaps Dr. Amal, do we need to have one session for a photo session?
Yes, Dr. Hidayu.
So it's 3:30, yeah. So actually Dr. Zaleha session should finish at 3:30. So we have come to 30 now. Dr. Zaleha, thank you very much, Dr. Zaleha, for your very insightful talk, and especially to those who are from, I believe that most of us are coming from the halal background. So perhaps this is the first time they heard such terminology like aquaculture, what are there, and mariculture, for example. What are actually mariculture? They don't really know that perhaps. But Alhamdulillah, is a good exposure, especially to our students. And perhaps this is a very good platform to really like expose our students to the research that we are doing here at Inhart. We are actually across of many disciplines at Inhart. Like Dr. Zaleha said, there are studies like you have to like widen your view or horizon of a research, especially to be more relevant to halal industry particularly, and also to the halal and tayyib halal and tayyib research, for example. So I would like to thank Dr. Zaleha again, and Dr. Amal as representative from the and also we have also Dr. Prof. Dr. Azura here, the Deputy Dean of Responsible Research and Innovation at Inhart. So thank you everyone for arranging such a fruitful meeting, fruitful event. So I hope to see you guys again, because this is our very first of series. So inshallah, please expect to hear from us soon for the next series later, inshallah. So with that, before I end the session, I would like to humbly request everyone to turn on your webcam so that we can take one or two photos together. Can everyone turn on their web camera? Dr. Amal, can you help me to take the picture, Doctor?
Yes, I will be waiting for everyone to turn on their camera. Once ready, you can let me know.
I don't see like many is turning on their camera. Or maybe they're a bit shy because this is our first series. Maybe.
Okay, so I have some, Dr. Hidayu. I think we can take the photo. So we'll count to 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I will take one more. Freestyle. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you, Dr. Hidayu.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amal. So with that, I would like to end the session with tasbih, kafarah, and surah as. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining in today, and we'll see you again in the next series. Thank you very much.